A narcissist will do this thing where he's trying to disconnect you from family, from friends, from positive influences in your life. And I need you to understand this is intentional. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness of narcissistic abuse and to help break people free from the toxic relationships that they've been in. Maybe you feel stuck or addicted to the toxic person and you want to know how to break free. You can go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough and want to be able to help you move forward in that direction. If you haven't already, hit like, subscribe, rate, review, share the podcast, share the video. Would love to be able to help you move forward in your healing, your growth, and in your development. So when we talk through this piece, I want to bring up to you that narcissists, we're going to draw this out for you here. And if you're on the podcast, sorry, it's just on YouTube. We've got narcissists over here, so we'll put narcissist, okay? He's got this goal, okay? And the goal is to be able to take you from your friends and your family. So we've got here, there's your family. Add a couple people in the background. They're not kids, they're just your friends, okay? We just got a bunch of these people. Okay, his goal is, how does he actually separate you? How does he actually put this barrier in between you and in between the family? Now, typically he's looking to be able to do this in a couple different ways. Like the whole goal is like, how do I make sure that I manipulate and control to be able to get you just beside him? Because I need you to understand the narcissist is looking for supply. Now, when we talk about supply, we normally label it as people, okay? And everybody's going to be like, oh, you're talking about people supply. Yeah, that's how a narcissist views it. So just understand that's the terminology. That's the things that are actually going on. Okay, but when we're dealing with this piece of supply, typically it's looking at another person and it's the reaction or response that a narcissist is getting from that person. And so the narcissist is typically looking at, how do I actually get this person here to be my sole supply? To be the number one person that I have in my life, and so they don't have any other influences. Now, why does the narcissist want to take you away from other people? Okay, typically what's going to happen is the other people in your life, they're typically going to communicate truth. Okay, they're going to give you an awareness of like, hey, this guy is not good for you. This guy might be toxic. And the narcissist is like, hey, I have to be able to bring you from where you currently are. I have to be able to bring you away from them. Okay, it's like that's the whole goal. Like, how do I actually get you away from these people? And how do I get you over here beside me? Now, the narcissist is typically trying to do this in a couple different ways to separate. Sometimes there's a piece of triangulate. Now, when a narcissist is triangulating, what he's doing is he's taking a couple different things. He's saying, hey, here's the narcissist, okay? Here's you, and we'll just say here's others. Okay, might look weird, but there we go. Narcissist is like, hey, you, did you hear what they said about you? They said blah, 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 blah. They said all these mean things. Okay, and then he goes to the other person and he's like, hey, did you hear what she said about you? She said blah, 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 blah. Okay? This is one out of million illustrations, so don't be like, oh, that's not the best triangulation. I'm just telling you what it looks like. Okay? So the whole goal is like, can we actually pit these two people against each other? It's like, can we drive this like wedge in between these two people so that they don't communicate, so that they don't connect? So narcissist is like, let me see if I can actually divide you apart. If I can divide you apart, then I have a better chance of isolating the one person. Of isolating the one person that I get supply, that I get this admiration from, that I'm entitled to, that I can control. Let me see if I can just put a wedge and then get this person over near me. So it's one of the things he's trying to do. Remember, he's trying to be able to bring you away from these other people. Okay, he's trying to be able to say, hey, how do I get you away so that you are my supply? Now, oftentimes he's going to do this with no words. Now, this is the wild part. You're like, how could he do this with no words? Narcissists sometimes will do this without saying a single thing, but by how he's either showing up or not showing up. Okay? Now, let's think of it this way. Okay, a narcissist will do this with saying, hey, I'm going to go and I'm going to commit to something with your family. And then he's going to bail last minute. Like, I'm going to go and I'm going to do this thing with you because I know you love it so much, and then he's going to disappear. And it's going to create this weird dichotomy of like what's going on, because you're like, but I want to hang out with my family, but then he just bailed. Now, some of you, it's not a problem. You're like, I'm going to family anyways, right? But some of you will be like, but I feel bad because that's my husband. That's my boyfriend. That's the person. That's my soulmate. Like, ugh. And you're going to see this kind of rub back and forth of like, okay, what do I actually want to do? Now, the other thing the narcissist is going to do, he's going to do it in a subtle way, but oftentimes it's going to be complaint. Now, when he's complaining, it's this aspect of not just complaining about the other person. Oftentimes you're going to see that in like the triangulation, but complaining that you're not spending time with him. Like, do you remember when we first got together? Like, we had so much fun together. Now I feel like I hardly see you. You're like addicted to your job. Like, I never get to see you at all. You're out with family like all the time. Like, I just feel like they're coming in between us. See what he's doing? He's trying to get you to see that there's a wedge there that there's not. Narcissist is trying to get you to actually see, oh, I'm actually putting work over you, so I need to pull back from work. Now have you blow up your company. Like, he'll have you take the eye off the ball of what you're actually doing inside your business to focus on him. Then you get to a place where you start to doubt yourself. You're confused. You're frustrated. You're like, I can't make decisions at work. Yeah, because he's controlling those, because he's making you focus only on him. So there's aspect where he'll like complain about the family, he'll complain about other people, but he'll complain about like the time spent. Hey, you're spending too much time with everyone else and you're not spending any time with me. All right, have you seen any of these in your relationship? If you have, type one of these words down below. Triangulate, showing up, complain, time spent, because I want other people to see what actually connects. You might see there's more people that actually connect with this than what you realize. I want you to see, when you participate, you are able to see other people and be able to be a support for other people. There's probably one person out there that's watching this video that's not going to comment and is going to think, yeah, mine never did that. But then they see 20 other people that actually be like, yeah, mine was all about this complaining piece. And they're like, oh, yeah, I guess mine was too. You see, there's a help a lot of times when we bring people into community because they're able to start seeing through other people's eyes. This is a piece that I realized a short time ago as I was like working with people one-on-one. I've had over 2,500 people that I've sat down with, talked to, worked through stuff, and realized how it doesn't work as well as what I thought it did. Instead, we had to bring people into a community so they could actually see other people's perspectives. Because just me telling them the answers or me showing them, hey, this is what he's doing, this is what he's not doing, didn't give people enough clarity. They still stayed stuck a lot of times. Then after doing so many one-on-one appointments and people being like, I want to work with you one-on-one, I'm like, no, like I got to have you go through a community first, because if you don't do that, oftentimes you will be only locked into your perspective. You will only think your version of the story. But when you see 20 other people that have the same version of the story, it starts to wake you up. It starts to make you think something different about the relationship that you're in. It starts to make you think something different about what actually happened, because you start to realize what he was actually doing. He was subtly pulling you away. He was subtly pulling you away from your friends, from your family, from your coworkers, from other people. And he was using multiple different ways to do it. Trying to make sure that you stayed away from him, that you stayed stuck in the toxicity. How many of you have felt stuck in the toxicity, isolated from your friends and from your family, from the people around you? A narcissist does this over and over and over again. He's like, if I can pull back and pull you with me, I can isolate you. Now, many of you have been isolated completely. You've been isolated because he brought you home and he said, hey, I want you focused on the kids. I'll do all the work. Then he blames you for not working, and you're also strapped because financially he's abused you. Maybe you're at the place where he's moved you across the country and you're like, oh, I'm completely isolated now because I have no friends or family that are nearby to even help me out, even if I wanted. Narcissists will go to great lengths to put up all these barriers and these walls to keep you there. And oftentimes you get to the place where you're like, hey, this feels great because like we're so connected. In reality, the narcissist is like, hey, welcome to my prison. This is the place that I'm going to keep you in bondage and I'm going to keep you stuck and you're never going to get free. Because if I can keep you stuck here, you will never go back to the people that are actually going to speak truth into your life. Like you're never going to hear that. Because I've triangulated you enough not to be able to leave them. I've convinced you that like, hey, they're not worth my time because I never show up. I've complained about you going and spending time with other people. And I've said, hey, like I feel like you don't spend enough time with me. I know there's other examples of this and there's many other ways that a narcissist does this, but these are some of the top ones that narcissists do to make sure that you are in prison, to make sure you're in bondage to the toxic person, to make sure that you're his slave, you're his servant, to make sure that you're stuck. How many of you right now would say that you're stuck? Type in the word stuck inside this chat right now. Because many of you will stay stuck for a long period of time, not realizing that you're stuck, not realizing that there's freedom on the other side of this liberation of being stuck in a toxic relationship. Because you think, hey, this is all that I can currently see. Like this current picture here of you stuck in prison with the narcissist, when you're here, this is all you see. This is your current reality. And as a result, you will stay in this reality till we actually break you out of it. Like until we actually shatter the side of the cage and you're able to actually liberate yourself and move free, you will stay stuck. This is why dealing with just a therapist many times will not set you free, because they're like, hey, look at these mantras, look at these good things, let me help you understand this, but it doesn't actually break you free. Because it's not opening your mindset to understand that your current reality currently has you trapped. Because you're not looking at the facts, you're not looking at the truth, you're dealing and you're stuck with a toxic person that doesn't want to let you go. If you actually want to break free today, then please shoot me a message. I'd love to be able to help you move forward. You can go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough to start moving forward in your healing today.